Hello everybody, I'm Ryan from Fireside Yankees. In today's video, we're discussing the Yankees signing of Matt Gage, a left-handed relief pitcher who spent last season with the Houston Astros, was drafted by the San Francisco Giants out of the 10th round in 2014, spent some time with the New York Mets, spent some time in the Mexican League, spent some time with the Arizona Diamondbacks, and with the Toronto Blue Jays. Now, he's had some spatterings of Major League success, actually across 16 games with the various Major League teams. He has a 1.83 ERA, a 26% strikeout rate, and a 48.9% ground ball rate, but issues with consistency have kept him from realizing his full potential. There are a couple things that I really like in his profile that I think could serve really well for him, and I'm really excited to get into today's video. So before we guys talk about Matt Gage, before we get into everything there, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell. And without further ado, let's get into today's video. Now, opening up when it comes to Matt Gage, we're going to look at his profile, and if you look at his 2022 pitch mix, it's fastball, it's slider, it's cutter, like it's a pretty basic mix from a left-handed pitcher. It's interesting because he's one of the few lefties out there that don't have a curveball. Most left-handed pitchers do have a curveball. It just makes sense given kind of what the matchups look like for lefties and righties. Typically, right-handed batters perform worse against left-handed curveballs, and so they always carry one. But getting back to the arsenal here, Matt Gage sports a four-seam fastball that generates 16 inches of carry. This past year, it was at 94 miles an hour, but in 2022, it was only at 92.8, so he had a pretty serious uptick in velocity. If you increase your velocity by 1.2 miles an hour, especially from the left-handed side, where velocity on average is typically a little bit lower than the right-handed side, you're getting a pretty good uptick in stuff plus, and you're going to get a pretty good uptick in performance as well. I was really encouraged by the strides he made with the Houston Astros. Every pitch in his repertoire was thrown a bit harder this past year, and he had a little bit of success at the Major League level. Again, only appeared in 5 games, had a 2.70 ERA, a 29.6% strikeout rate, 46.7% ground ball rate. This is a guy who in his career has historically been more of a, throw him into low leverage spots and kind of hope he can give you some innings, but I think the Yankees can utilize and get a little bit more value out of him. Now, I know the AAA numbers aren't too enticing. It's a 4.58 ERA across 34 innings pitched, but people need to understand that in AAA, especially in the Pacific Coast League, which is where the Houston Astros AAA affiliate plays, there was a lot of run scoring. I mentioned the International League had a 5.18 ERA. That's the league where the Yankees AAA affiliate, the Scranton Rail Riders, play in. The Pacific Coast League is even worse for run scoring. So there was a lot of runs being scored there. His ERA was well above the AAA average for the Pacific Coast League. And so you need to judge him based on how he is compared to the league average. And then getting back to the stuff here, he has a pretty good cutter. He has a sweeping slider. Those are two pitches that the Yankees genuinely have a lot of success with, and they typically teach a lot of their pitchers, and he's left-handed. Now, the Yankees don't have a lot of left-handed relief depth. Even if you go outside of the major leagues, they don't have a lot of upper-level minor league depth at that position. They brought back Anthony Misewicz. They have Nick Ramirez, who they can send down to AAA as he has a minor league option. And they have Matt Crook, but neither of those guys really stand out as great options. I think Nick Ramirez is a solid option, but he's also entering his age 34 season, so there's a little bit of skepticism about how well he can sustain his performance. When it comes to Matt Crook, he was just flat out really bad for the Yankees when he pitched for them in brief stints last year. And then Misewicz has never really had a lot of major league success, so, Matt Gage does present just another option for them. And the guy who, again, has had some major league success, a 1.83 ERA across 19 and 2/3 innings pitched is pretty successful, and he's got a tendency to keep the ball on the ground. He can get swings and misses. Those are two traits that typically project well for any major league reliever or just any major league pitcher in general. The ability to control those two outcomes is important. The ability to keep the ball on the ground, the ability to prevent damage contact, and the ability to get swings and misses helps you to prevent runs, right? So, when we're looking at preventing runs, it's an equation, right? You're trying to figure out the things that control run prevention or the things that are not ideal for hitters and how to control those outcomes. And Matt Gage does that pretty well. I think the Yankees can get more out of his profile. I think they're more willing to feature relievers in a more aggressive role, even if they don't have great track records. We saw this with Ian Hamilton last year where the New York Yankees picked him up, and kind of as soon as he got the ball rolling, the Yankees started throwing him into higher leverage situations almost immediately. When the Yankees initially traded for Clay Holmes, he went from a guy who would feature in blowout games to one of the Yankees' most relied upon relievers in late game situations. So The tree of trust is very flexible for the Yankees. Aaron Boone has shown historically that he's willing to throw guys in unconventional situations if he trusts the internal metrics and if he trusts that guy in that spot. And I think Gage is a guy who the Yankees are going to grow to like if he can stay healthy and if he can keep himself going. The Yankees claimed him off of waivers, so they have to put him on their 40-man roster. So it'll be interesting to see if they clear any roster spots or if they DFA anybody as a corresponding move. Perhaps there's a trade in the works. I'm not saying it's going to be anything big. Maybe it's something like Ben Wortvet going to a team that needs catching depth, or, a situation where they deal one of the relievers. Maybe it's a Matt Crook. Maybe they DFA Matt Crook. Maybe they deal a guy like Nick Ramirez. I don't know, but Matt Gage can certainly provide a lot of value for this bullpen. There's a lot of upside here. When looking at projection systems, Zips believes he'll provide 40 games pitched with 44 innings, a 21.7% strikeout rate, and a 4.30 ERA. Steamer believes he's a 4.09 ERA guy next year. And again, those are pretty solid projections. Again, this is a guy that's his median outcome, and it's a guy who claimed off of waivers. He's going to give you about league average run prevention. That's fine, right? And you can get more than that out of this profile because there is some upside here. He has a little bit of a funky delivery. If you watch him pitch, it's a little bit weird. The cutter and the slider are also interesting pitches, and I think both of those pitches can generate swings and misses and soft contact. The sweeping slider is going to work really well against left-handed batters because horizontal movement plays better to same-handed hitters. And then for the cutter, that's going to play a lot better to righties because that pitch prioritizes a lot of vertical drop. That pitch plays more like a gyro slider. It's kind of a slider-cutter hybrid. And pitches that prioritize vertical drop work better against opposite-handed hitters. So he kind of has two pitches to go to that are breaking ball kind of pitches that he can get swings and misses with. And the four-seam fastball he can play to lefties and righties. That's the pitch he relies upon the most. That seems to be the pitch he has the most comfort with, which makes sense because it's the pitch that has the least amount of horizontal break. But his fastball is also unique because it's a cut-ride fastball. Now, for those who are not aware as to what a cut-ride fastball is, it's in the name. So cut, it has cutting action. That doesn't mean it's moving like a cutter, but it stays within 0 to 2 inches of horizontal break to the arm side. And in Gage's case, this year he actually averaged glove side movement. So his fastball averaged a little bit of glove side movement. We can really say it stayed towards the 0 line in terms of horizontal movement, but that's the cut proponent of a cut ride fastball. The ride proponent of it is vertical break. Having a pitch that rides to the top of the zone, doesn't drop a lot, and stays on plane, and batters end up swinging underneath those pitches. Those pitches, on average, tend to generate a lot of softer contact in comparison to pitches that have more arm side movement. And it's just because it's a unique pitch, and it's a pitch that not a lot of pitchers can throw. So uniqueness is usually good, right? Like having unique characteristics and unique traits typically makes for a pretty good pitcher, and I'm excited to see how the Yankees deploy him this season. But let us know what you guys think in the comment section below. We appreciate you guys tuning in and stopping by. You guys can check us out on empiresportsmedia.com for all of our written content, where not only do we have news like this covered, but we have news covered for all your favorite New York sports teams, including the Jets, Giants, Mets, Knicks, Nets, Islanders, Rangers. We got it all. And as for our socials, you guys can check us out on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and of course this YouTube page, all in the same name, Fireside Yankees. Links are all in the description. You can follow me on Twitter at Ryan Garcia ESM, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.